In 1996, two glitches called Pokémon Red and Blue were released, leading to the most profitable media franchise of all time, once it was discovered that these glitches occasionally acted like games. So what did a typical playthrough look like at the time when these games were new and info on how they played hadn't spread? Well, first you dumped your ROM and loaded it onto your Super Game Boy emulator, and then you picked Charmander, because then you get Charizard, and Charizard is the best, hence why he's never stopped reappearing in all other media. We visit our rival sister in their one-room house with no beds, get a town map with no purpose other than taking up bag space, and head on up to Viridian City. We immediately get a second career as a postman. Big day for a 10-year-old. Over the years, Pokémon has added a lot of ways to prevent players from being unable to finish the games, such as mandatory XP sharing and tutorials throughout the games, which many think is overkill, but it kinda makes sense when you find out that you can accidentally softlock Pokémon Red by evolving your starter before delivering Oak's parcel, because he'll just rate your Pokédex instead. Back to Viridian City, see our rival, use Charmander, get past the reality warping old man, oh we'll be seeing you later, then absolutely destroy Viridian Forest with Ember. We make it to Pewter City, try to leave, dude forces me to the gym then walks through a wall. Visit the museum first to gain some knowledge. Apparently we went to the moon in this timeline on the exact same day as in the real world. The implications. What reality is this? Why didn't they just have an Abra teleport them there? We go fight Brock the cheetah who keeps healing burns before they can do anything. In the Fire Red remake, Charmander learns Metal Claw at level 13 in case you're stubborn enough to insist on using him despite the type disadvantage. Little did they know that stubbornly using your starter for every challenge is the preferred, true, authentically Japanese way, to boldly decide to keep doing the same thing despite it being slower and less efficient. If they insist on still using fax machines, I insist on still using my starter for every fight. I like shorts, they're comfy and easy to wear. What a line. A naturally written AI sounding line. Another guy points out I'm not wearing shorts. What's with these people? What's that guy in a Beefeater hat doing up there? Ah yes, the time period accurate PC. A CRT monitor, keyboard and mouse. No touchscreens or wireless here, just the kind of technology they had in the 90s, except for the Pokédex being a wireless encyclopedia, and the mind wiping tube for trading Pokémon. And the Pokémon body swap horror stuff Bill has going on that's never brought up again, as though that isn't a miraculous and kinky creepy thing to do. Visit Cerulean Gym, only use Charmeleon, onto the SS Am. Did you know there's only one bin in this whole game that has something in it? Specifically this bin on the SS Am. And it's just a Great Ball. I swear there's a Mandela effect going on here, and in an alternate timeline about half the bins contain treasure. That's my experience with rooting through bins at least. We get the HM cut from the seasick captain, and leave before we think too much about how you become a ship captain if you're prone to seasickness. Back to Vermilion City, traded my Spearow away because no one likes Spearow. Only psychopaths prefer Spearow. Seriously, who are these people picking Spearow over Pidgeot? I'm not saying they're bad people, they're just evil. Visit Vermilion Gym, electric type gym. One of the trainers here says bird types are weak to electric. Good job Charizard is a fire and flying type then. Time for some caving. So this is the early days of Pokemon game design, which means they're still experimenting with things, like forcing you to catch Pokemon by having to teach HM moves to complete the game, as well as only being able to get certain items if you've caught enough Pokemon. A design choice so universally disliked that in typical Nintendo fashion, they decided to introduce even more HMs in future games before eventually removing the need entirely just 2 short decades later. When people talk about the Nintendo polish, I think they're conveniently forgetting the Pokemon games. We make our way to Lavender Town, where the NPCs openly talk about how Pokemon die, and that this place acts as a graveyard for them. They also state that Team Rocket killed a Cubone's mother, and one child says she witnessed this murder. What the hell is this tone shift? An NPC straight up gives you a TM because her Pokemon died. Incidentally, TMs being single use is good design. It creates interesting choices. Do you make your powerhouse even better, or do you power up some otherwise weaker Pokemon? You can't make everyone more powerful, which makes it so you can be given powerful moves early because it won't break the game. Fortunately, I don't have to worry about this because I'm only using Charizard. We visit the Lavender Tower and things get even darker as it's clear that Team Rocket show no remorse for killing a Marowak, and that said Marowak is haunting the tower as its soul is restless. Alright, this place is bringing the mood down. Let's use this graveyard as an appropriate backdrop to kick our rival's ass, then go to Celadon. Scientifically crafted potion designed specifically for healing Pokemon recovers 20 health. Fresh water, 50 health. Stay hydrated folks. Use the invisible PC in Celadon Hotel to deposit some items. Here's an interesting cultural reference. The prize hall is in a building next door to the casino, like how it works in Japan. And there's an old man perving on the local women with no shame, like how it works in Japan. As I annihilate the Celadon gym with flamethrowers from a Charizard 20 levels higher than the leader's Pokémon, it should hopefully be clear why power leveling one Pokémon is the superior strategy. There's no in-game way to learn what any of the moves' power and accuracy is, which seems like required information to make informed decisions and formulate strategies, but this is the 90s and I don't have ready access to that info. Flamethrower certainly does the trick though, so I guess I'll just keep using Charizard. Get this Snorlax out of the way. Very lazy, just eats and sleeps. As its rotund bulk builds, it becomes steadily slothful. Same. We burned our way through the rocket hideout, which was hiding underneath the casino, therefore being the second most corrupt operation going on in this building. Ride our bike down to Fuchsia City. Guy in the Poké Center says I can't just raise one Pokémon. Fool. I'll have to catch others to use HMs, but I'm not raising them. This Snorlax was caught at level 30 and he'll die at level 30. Go to the Safari Zone just to throw rocks, capture nothing. Ugh, why does Machoke look like that? Put it out of its misery. Visit the Fuchsia, Saffron, Cinnabar and Viridian gyms, only use Charizard. Make Giovanni have a mental breakdown over how a child could destroy his evil crime organisation, as though I don't also have a massive fire dragon with me and a willingness to inflict extreme violence despite being 10 years old. Time for the Pokemon League. But first, I'm off to catch some legendary birds. Typical Friday night, am I right fellas? Despite how many of my balls I throw at them, they keep hitting me. Typical Friday night, eh guys? Fun fact, I had a friend say that saving before trying to catch legendaries was cheating. So in case you were wondering, weirdo gatekeepers over video game difficulty have existed for about as long as video games have. Back to the Pokemon League, deposit all my HM slaves, don't need them, shove rare candies into my Charizard to roid him up for the Elite Four, only use Charizard against L'Oreal, only use Charizard against Bruno. Agatha says Oak used to be tough and handsome, rude, only use Charizard against her. Lance stands out because his Dragonite is likely something you've never seen before, is the only dragon type in the game, and you have no way of knowing dragon is weak to ice, but you'll quickly find out it's resistant to grass, fire and water, aka your starter's type. Fortunately, I have Slash, so I only have to use Charizard. Oh no, my rival, whatever will I only use Charizard, Hall of Fame, just Charizard and me. Time for the post game, which consists entirely of catching a diseased rat. Nothing else left to do. So let's crack this thing like an egg and stare in wonder at the gooey innards. Watch an old man catch a Weedle to break reality, then catch Missing No. Ah, the joy of looking at a train wreck. Or being able to safely take part in a train wreck. Breaking these games was so easy that it often happened accidentally. They're like a glitchy sandbox. If you've had your fun with one glitch, there's another waiting right around the corner. Although, the modern games aren't much better when it comes to bugs and glitches. And if you're hoping they turn this around and stop making broken games, I got bad news for you. Pokémon could lose its entire international audience and still be profitable from Japan alone. You're complaining about the noise coming from their money printing machine, but they can't hear you over the sound of all the money being printed. That said, these early glitches have an odd charm to them. Missing No is possibly the most famous video game glitch, yet it's not treated as an awful blight on the game. Instead, it has its own lore, its own fans, its own place in the legacy and history of the franchise. It's surprising how charming Jank can be, though sometimes it can go too far. Oh, look at this is just bullying at this point. The game is so broken, yet it's still trying to let you play it, desperately trying to hold itself together as you cut through the tape and dreams it relies on to work. But one final glitch before we go. Go to the Safari Zone, save, leave, spin in Giovanni's gym, get teleported away as we're spinning, jump over a ledge while spinning on a bike, nothing will top that, end of video.